Hey CFA, you're listening to Mason and Vincent. We're going to talk a little bit about how art can help deal with stress and anxiety. It's a tough time for everyone with mental health and stuff, going outside isn't the best option. So it's important to have an outlet so you can stay mentally well.
Yeah, I think everyone just needs time for themselves. For example, meditation or yoga, just something that can boost their mental health and a good way to relax.
I mean, for me, I think that during the pandemic so far, like running and exercising has really been like a big part of me staying mentally well and being able to just like wake up and accomplish something, and it makes you kind of feel like you've had a productive day when it's like a time where it's pretty hard to have a productive day.
Exactly. It feels like you just gotta have something there that makes you feel like you're making that progress and you're trying to improve every day and not just basically living the same day over and over again.
Definitely. The CDC had put out an article actually that talked about how important it is to manage stress and maintain a good mental health during the pandemic. They had recommended a few ways like exercising or taking breaks from the news, to kind of like get back to yourself and ground yourself and realize that like everything isn't super bad. Like there's a couple of good things. Remember what good stuff is going on.
I think it's very comfortable for me as an artist to make art and feel very relaxed and feeling that it's very therapeutic. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people who are not artists are missing out on.
I definitely agree with that. There was a study that was done by Drexel that talked about stress relief, not for artists, because I think that a big disparity between artists and people who don't consider themselves artists, there's like a big difference between those types of people. And so Drexel's College of Nursing and Health, they had done this study that creating art might amplify stress reducing effects. And it seemed that everyone benefited from that equally. So the study was cortisol is a hormone that's found in saliva. So they took samples before and after 45 minutes of art making, totally random subject group. And they found that 75% of the participants had lowered their cortisol levels after the art making. There was a wide range of mediums too. It's like not everyone was using just pencil and paper. Everybody was like markers or clay and sculpting. And
that's very interesting, seeing just how even the most simplistic forms of art, just by drawing or just by painting, can really relieve stress. And I think it's a very good way, especially right now, since mental health is in decline and people have a lot of time. I think it's a very good way to be more comfortable with yourself and pursue something like that. And for me personally, when I make art, it's for myself. If I do it in a way that I have to complete something, or if it's like a chore, then I feel like it becomes less fun. I think it's a good stress reliever when you have a lot of overwhelming assignments or homework or just things that are happening in your home. It's kind of an outlet for myself to just relieve some of that stress that's been building up.
It's a good way to almost like organize a busy mind, to sit down and take like 15 to 30 minutes out of your day and just do something that's not mindless, but something that you don't really have to focus too hard on. And it's just fun and it's easy.
What's your experience with that?
Especially over the summer, when I didn't have school to focus on, I think that's when it got really tough to find motivation as like an artist. Personally, I'm super, super structured. I like to plan it out and I like to know what I'm doing, even though I usually split from that plan a lot. And I think that
Same.
that's why like my main medium that I work in is wheel thrown pottery. Like I like the idea of I just pick a weight of clay and then I make that into a ball and I throw it on the wheel and then I just start and I have like no intention of what I'm going to make. And I feel like that's when I make the most productive and meaningful things. And so I think that that's kind of interesting, relating that back to that Drexel study of just like creating with not really any intention, just like starting from nothingness and creating something. I think that it's a really interesting way to create.
In general, it's just like art is very expressive and it's very free. It's something that anybody can do, and really it's based on your own level of comfort at the pace at which you do it. I think it's very helpful to just relax and make art.
So Harvard had also done a study that revolved around art and old age with homebound illnesses, which I thought
Mm.
was kind of interesting because I think that a heavy hit demographic of COVID has been people with old age or people in like old age homes and Alzheimer's facilities and stuff like that. And they found that a lot of these people struggling with being at home or being isolated, there was improved memory, reasoning, and resilience throughout the whole study across the board with all of their patients. Personally, I mean, my grandparents have been struggling a lot just being at home. I mean, I have one single grandmother and she's doesn't really get out that much. And so not being able to go outside, you know, not being able to see people has been really tough for her. And ironically enough, she's a RISD graduate actually. And so I
Oh,
know for her, she's a big photographer and taking photos has kind of been like her outlet during the pandemic, which is pretty cool.
yeah. If you're feeling stressed or lonely at home, you can always take some time out of your day to do something creative, something that makes you happy. It's always nice to set aside even like just 15 minutes or 5 minutes to let yourself create something physical or something that's very expressive. And just making art helps you just organize the thoughts that you might have during this really tough time.
It's not just pen and pencil and paper. It's not just pen and paper. It's not just paints. It's like you can maybe making paper mache hats is your jam. It's like go make a bunch of paper mache hats if that makes you happy, or go knit a blanket, or buy some cheap clay from the art store and go sculpt a little bowl that can sit on your desk.
It's not just for artists, right? It's something that everybody can do. It's not, you don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be good at art in order to enjoy art. You just have to be in that state of mind where you're very open and to your thoughts, to your ideas and your creativity. I think that's very relieving to be in that state of mind. Whatever you may be doing today or tomorrow or the next day, just try and take some time off for yourself and just make some art.